CoffeeNate.com, I'm Nate Smith, and this week, as promised, I have for you a vac pot demonstration. It's also known as a siphon pot or a vacuum coffee brewer. At first glance, it looks a little intimidating because it has two chambers, has two pots. You know, it's got this crazy tube that goes down here. Like, what's all this about? It's a really simple, easy brewing method. It produces a superior cup of coffee, even better than French press and other brewing methods, especially better than auto drip. Auto drip is for convenience. Remember, we talked about in different episodes, it's more of a convenience factor. It's an easy way, just throw it in there and let it go, right? And then it's always sitting there and it's cooking and making disgusting flavored coffee. But it is not an ideal brewing method. This, however, is an ideal brewing method, and I'm going to explain it to you. It's very simple. It's dummy proof, which is good for me because I'm a dummy. Anyway, this is the Bodum Santos vacuum coffee maker. This is a stovetop version. There's different varieties you can get with different burners and whatnot. This is very simple. You just use your stovetop, and it's comprised of two pots. The bottom one, the water goes in initially, and the top one is where the coffee goes. And this is your filter here. It's a nylon, like a plastic type of deal, and it looks like one of those kids' toys, those suction cup thingies you stick down and bang! Anyway, kids love them. But, you know, keep away from your kids because they'll play with it and slingshot it around. Anyway, this goes inside of the pot there, and how this works is there's a gasket here that seals off the top from the bottom, and when the water is heated, as you remember from grade school, water is H2O, hydrogen and oxygen, and when it's heated, it returns to the gas form, which is a water vapor, and it pushes, and the water vapor takes up more space than does the actual liquid water. So when that water vapor is created, it creates pressure inside of the bottom container, and there is nowhere for it to go. So it pushes on that water, that mass of water, and when it reaches the ideal brewing temperature, it pushes that water up through this siphon tube into the upper area where the coffee is, and that's where it's brewed. And when you remove the heat source, the opposite occurs, where the bottom chamber is cooling, and it draws out all of the liquid from the upper chamber. And this is the filter, and when that liquid from the upper chamber is drawn out, it filters out the grounds. It makes a much cleaner cup than a French press. A French press, you'll get that sediment, and you have to use a very coarse grind. This, you can use a finer grind, about auto drip grind. This makes it cleaner. It's a better filtering system. The bottom is kind of rigid. There's ridges, like it's fluted, and that filters out, sifts out all of the silt. So this is how it works. You put it in there. There's a little pull down type of dealio, a little pull chain, like you're turning the light on, and there's like a little paper clip thing that snaps in place there. Real easy. You take your fresh coffee, and there's an included scoop, and it's 1 scoop per cup. So you can make 6 or 8 cups in here. This is the 8-cup version, so this is what I'm going with. As the water is now being forced up and it's permeating all the grounds, I'm just going to give it a good stir to activate all of the grinds. And you'll see what's known as the bloom. It's the foam on the top of the coffee. If your coffee is not fresh, it will not produce that nice bloom. And now the process is going rather quickly right now. And once all of the water has evacuated the bottom pot, I will let it sit there for about a minute. I'm just going to move it slightly off of the heat. We're just going to let it roll there for about a minute to steep. And then when it's, again, like I explained earlier, when it's removed from the heat source, the reverse will occur and the coffee will be drawn into the bottom pot. And what's left in the bottom is what you serve. Convenient holder. I'll remove that from the heat. Turn the heat off. And watch. actually be vacuumed out of the top pot. CoffeeNate.com, where we've explored the benefits of vacuum brewing. Join me next week where we do a mocha pot demonstration. And also be sure to get your questions and comments in. If you comment on any post or send a question in, you will get an entry for the free coffee. And if you fan me up on Facebook or if you sign up for the newsletter, you will also tweet about CoffeeNate.com with the link to CoffeeNate.com. Make sure you add @CoffeeNate with your tweet. And for all of those different things, you'll get entries for the free coffee drawing. And this month it's sponsored by Barris Brothers Coffee. And the Barris Brothers has been very generous and it will allow the winner of this drawing to go onto their website and pick out whatever coffee they want. See you next week, CoffeeNate.com, where there's always something brewing.